Chapter 15. It's exciting. Subscribe if you want to stay with us till the end. See what happens at the end of the book. Like this video if you like this video, and let's get into it. Chapter 15. Exposed. The Uber's leather seat got slick with sweat. Deborah tried to remind herself not to feel nervous. This is for fun, she thought. He's the one who should be nervous. She's the catch. Why worry? It's not like she cared about the date that much anyway. The lies didn't work. Deborah unbuckled, held her pencil skirt down, and slid over to the back seat diagonal from the driver, lifting her legs and avoiding any squeaking that the leather might trigger. Maybe I should say something to the driver, she thought. Talking might calm me down. When they arrived, Deborah graciously thanked her driver and tipped 30%, an amount the man's ears had earned. The date wouldn't start for 5 minutes, so Deborah sat on a metal bench under the restaurant's overhang. Instead of Italian, Jack had insisted upon a steakhouse. Better service, better steak. As Deborah waited, she pulled her blazer tight around her, hoping Jack would be wearing a coat when he arrived. Leaning forward, Deborah could see the inside of the restaurant. Bright white LED lights lit the underside of stairs leading to a second floor, and white strips covered the ceiling in waves. She bet the seats were soft and warm. If it weren't for the embarrassment of waiting alone in a restaurant, she would have gone in. However, she didn't want to relive the experience from her last date. 15 minutes past their agreed meeting time, Jack approached from behind. He placed his hand on the small of her back as he apologized for his work keeping him over hours once again. Deborah said she understood because work does that to me all the time. They actually served us dinner there since they kept us late, Jack said, putting his hands into his coat pockets. Maybe we could go for a walk instead? We can stop by somewhere to pick up food for you to eat, if you'd like. I was kind of looking forward to eating at the restaurant. It's already past 8. Emphasizing the pull of the blazer around her body, Deborah said, It's cold outside, too. Jack pushed his hands further into his coat pockets as he peered past the restaurant windows. We can still eat at the restaurant, but it's not that great. Steak is kind of meh. Turning back to Deborah, he said, Or we could get you something yummy and go to the park, like you said you had wanted to do, huh? It would be pretty with the fall leaves. He reached out and rubbed his thumb on her cheek. Stepping backward, Deborah grinded her teeth as she weighed her options. Jack looked rather nice in his dusty blue suit. It had a clean cut and tight fit. His walnut-colored hair was gelled back with the right amount of volume and sleekness. She wanted to try and be forgiving. She could let this go. Jack yawned. Are you tired? Honestly, I'm exhausted. But don't worry, I can make it through the night. Make it through the night? Deborah thought she deserved that much. Buttoning up her blazer and throwing her hair back, Deborah said, Well, Jack, my daughters actually came into town unexpectedly. How about we call it? You can take me out another night. Are you sure? I'm sure. Bringing both his hands to his face and another yawn, Jack nodded. I'll text you. They hugged goodbye, and Deborah declined the last-minute offer for a ride home. She trusted Jack, but she hardly knew the man. Instead, she waited for him to round a corner and thought of another option for dinner. The chances of this option having availability were slim, but maybe it wouldn't hurt to check. Hope played with fate, and she told herself that passing this opportunity up earlier would not affect her ability to take advantage of it now. She texted Ted. Hey, this might be too last minute for you, but my other plans fell through, and I happen to be in your area. Want to do something? His response came back within 10 minutes. I started binge watching a new television show, so I'm not sure that will work for me. Deborah frowned. JK, send me your location and I'll come meet you. An air of excitement rose within her. Too friendly at work Ted would be coming to see her soon, and that made her giddy. The contrast between Jack and him became clear to her, and she suddenly felt as if she had made a decision full of promise. A future of beautiful promises, perhaps. This would make her happy, even if it lasted no longer than the night. She could go on a date with a kind man, and then go home to the 2 sweet daughters who had come to visit her. When Ted pulled up in a black Tesla, he offered to keep Deborah warm by driving her around the city until they decided where to eat. They talked, and she rubbed her hand against the self-heating tan leather seats. His car indicated how much more money he made than Deborah, and she wondered if she should try to become a boss one day. So, Mrs. Lancaster, how have you been? Ted smirked while he watched the road. Oh, in a breathy laugh, Deborah said, We don't work together. You can call me Deborah now. The Mrs. thing is just to keep things platonic. Her silver tank swished as she moved to her side, hiding her face. That makes sense. Well, now that we're not working together, I actually prefer if you call me Mr. Humber, he said. Best to keep things professional. Swinging around to face him, Deborah's eyes widened. Did you say Humber? You know what? Forget I ever mentioned that last name. I've been trying to get rid of it for a while. Let's just stick to Ted. Deborah could not forget. For the next half minute, she laughed until Ted joined her and nearly rear-ended a car in front of them. Okay, this is too dangerous. We need to calm down. The laughter fell with ease. How did I never know that? You were my boss. Trust me, Ted said. I went to great lengths to make sure people don't know my last name. Whenever I could, I used my middle name, Theodore Lennox H. Deborah pointed at him. That sounds familiar. Turning onto another street, Ted waited a few seconds before asking, So, did your date cancel on you? Oh, what? No worries. When you said your Saturday night plans fell through, I figured it might be something like that. Seriously, don't feel nervous. It's not like we're exclusive. Just don't tell me how cool this dude would have been. This gave Deborah footing. He was not cool at all. I would have much rather gone with you in the first place, but I had already committed. Deborah waved her hand through the air as if clearing out muddied water. I'm glad it didn't work out, though. Ted took a second to look at Deborah. Me too. Returning his gaze to the road, he said, So, is it a busy weekend for you? Who knows? My daughters surprised me and flew in this afternoon, so we'll spend time together. Maybe I'll take them to Central Park or buy Broadway tickets if there are any available. Whoa, they surprised you? That's fantastic. So they're in town right now. Yeah, it's pretty great. I have the best girls. Did you want to go spend time with them? I can drop you off there. I feel bad. I don't want to take you from your family time. Tap. Deborah's nails hit on and off the dark door panel. I think they were talking about going to a club tonight, so I'm sure I'm not missing out. You sure? You don't want to be there just in case? No, I doubt they'll be back before midnight, and I don't want to sit around and do nothing, waiting for them to come back. I can double check and see if they went. Maybe they stayed home. I would happily take you back. I mean, happily, sorrowfully? I want to spend time with you, but like I said, family is important. If my oldest boy was in town, I would spend as much time with him as possible. Hands down. How sweet, Deborah thought. A man who puts his family first. This was a good sign. Do you have any other kids? Another boy. He's 13 and in that middle school phase. Oh, I know all about that. But I love the punk. He shook his head and laughed. Squinting from her smile, Deborah wondered if she could handle a 13-year-old in her life again. If it came down to it, she decided yes. Boys were much easier to raise anyhow. I'll text my girls real quick, she said before she forgot. She messaged Shelly. Hey, what are you girls up to? Seconds later, the response came in. Getting sushi at Happy Rolls. Looks like they're getting sushi. Would you look at that? Do you want me to drop you off there? Deborah sat and thought about it. You should join us. You need to eat, right? I don't know. I don't want to interrupt a dinner with your daughters. No, don't worry about it. It will be fun. I'm sure they'd be fine with you coming. After all, I'd hate to leave you hungry. Okay, sure. Deborah's fingers skipped across her screen. Wait for me. Don't buy anything, I'll pay. In an afterthought, she sent one more text message. I'm bringing a friend. Smiley face. Okay, I texted them. The restaurant is near my place, so I can give you directions. In under half an hour, they had made it to the restaurant. Ted dropped her off at the front while he searched for a parking spot. Almost skipping, Deborah followed the waitress as she led her to the daughter's booth. After they had been seated at Happy Rolls, Shelly opened her text to tell John she was all right. Once her confirmation sent, she opened an unread message from her mom. Mom wants to know what we're up to, she told Savannah. Complaints jetted out of Savannah's mouth. Why did their mom want to know what they were up to? Could she not focus on her date? Did she always need to track what her two adult daughters were doing? During Savannah's complaints, Shelly messaged her mom and blackened her screen. Dropping her phone on the gray table, she felt her shoulders relax. She could forget about things until her mom texted back and her phone dinged. Releasing the distraction, Shelly eased herself into the plush bench and soaked in the nostalgia. This sushi place had brought her comfort in high school. The dark suave color scheme and the soft seats plucked away her strings of tension because, most of all, this had been a place that she and her mom laughed at, talked at, felt complete at. On no occasion had they fought there, and Shelly didn't know why this had been their relationship's refuge, but she felt grateful for it. During those lonely New York years, this was one of the few places where her mom had felt like a mom. It was a place she had felt like a best friend. Shelly missed feeling this. Amidst the chaos of her past and present, she couldn't comprehend why her adult relationship with her mother functioned as it did. Why did she feel compelled to listen to everything her mom told her to do? Why did she eventually give up and give in? Living alone with her mom in high school had dented their connection, but they had a brief conversation about that a couple years ago. Her mom had apologized for her actions. Why didn't the problem feel buffered out? One thing had pecked incessantly at Shelly's mind as of late, and being around Savannah had brought it to the forefront. She knew her experience growing up, but she had less surety about her sisters. She wanted to ask, yet she tried not to. She tried to ignore the question, as she had done in the past, but what if they returned from New York and life resumed to what it was before? What if Savannah kept traveling and they stopped talking? Shelly might never know the answer. She might never gain the courage. She needed to try. Hey, Savannah. Shelly circled her fingers on the tabletop, her nails providing a constant scraping sound. Savannah put down her phone. Hey, what's up? Scrape, scrape. Well, nothing, really. The waitress came up. Scrape. They placed their orders and gave her their menus. Scrape. She left. Shelly, what's up? Nothing. Scrape. Sorry, I had a question, but it seems stupid to talk about it now. Scrape. Scrape. Shelly, you can talk to me. Besides, look around. No one's here. Scrape. Right. Okay. One breath in. The scraping stopped. Silence. Has Mom ever hit you? John hated not knowing what was going on with Shelly and her mom. Their call had ended in a sudden mess. Hopefully, her and Savannah stayed safe at the clubs. An odd level of comfort accompanied him as he decided that them going out would be better than them staying in with their mother. It didn't matter if her mother didn't commit crimes outlined in the laws. He viewed her manipulation as bad as a criminal act. Not to mention, every time he saw or heard her, he felt a darkness inside. He couldn't explain why. That woman brought all the negative feelings out of him, and he had decided long ago that people who made him feel that way were not the type of people he wanted to spend time with. Attempting to shake the feeling, John called Lucas. Unavailable. He tried to work on homework. Unsuccessful. He played video games for about an hour. Unsatisfying. He missed Shelly. He felt concerned. It led him to scrolling through photos and videos of her until his satisfaction became anxiety again. Wringing his hands, he walked into their bedroom and kneeled down. He needed to move around, let physical work occupy his mind. Left unattended under their bed were boxes and miscellaneous items disordered. He began his cleaning there. He pulled out a plastic gray box at the end of the bed. Its lid had become the dumping place for mail and other items. As he reorganized the notebooks, random papers offering credit card deals and coupons floated down to the carpet. Forgotten trinkets hid between papers, and John sorted them into a keep pile and a trash pile. After that, he rewarded himself and removed the lid to the bin, trying to remind himself of what it contained. The rectangular casing did not have great depth. In it, Shelley's sketches flowed over one another like a barreling wave. In the past, John had left Shelley's work alone, but his longing to connect with her led him to shuffle through the drawings that her hands had outlined and shaded. The first paper acted as a black and white mirror, reflecting his facial features before his lusterless eyes carried bags. He set this aside. Like a machine, he continued to explore the contents, setting each piece of paper to the side of the box, resting on the carpet. Each paper showed a different person, excluding a few repeats. About every eighth sketch included, if not focused on, John. He saw 3 of Amber, 1 of Lucas, 1 of Savannah, 1 of Brandon and her father, and at the bottom, a drawing of Shelley's mother. John's face fell, jaw stiffening. He told himself that he didn't need to feel angry. Shelly had said she was all right. She thought her mother would come around soon. He doubted it. Trying his best not to crumple her mother's face into a ball, John lifted up the sketch and looked closely. What does Shelly see in her? Why does she want her in her life? He didn't get it. She needed to cut her off. Maybe there was something more there, a hint of humanity in her face. He saw nothing. As he moved the sketch down with the rest, he noticed a folded piece of notebook paper at the bottom of the bin. Lined paper. Everything else he had seen came from one of Shelley's many sketch pads. A part of him felt a formal mannerism, reminding him not to search through Shelley's private items. No requests or rules had been made to keep him away from the box, but John knew that Shelley's artwork made her vulnerable. Often she felt embarrassed enough that when John had popped open the bin in the past, she had stood over him, watching carefully. He didn't look in there after a few times, and since he and Shelly had married, he could watch her in real time as she created and finished the drawings. The lined paper was a straggler, maybe a piece of trash. He had no reason to look at it. He turned the drawing of her mother's face down on the floor. 10 seconds passed. No reason except curiosity. John lifted the paper out and unfolded it. He held a list written in Shelley's handwriting. At the top, large letters titled the list. A bus named E. What does that mean? He thought. Bullet points went down 3/4 of the paper. Breath went out. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Halfway through reading the list, he dropped the paper, burned his hands scrambling off the carpet, and grabbed his phone. What? Savannah said. I don't know. I know that once we moved, you only visited the summer before your senior year and before you graduated. But I wasn't fully sure what it was like for you before, or for the times you did come to New York when I wasn't around. I didn't know if it was the same. Mom hit you? I mean, sort of. What do you mean, sort of? Checking for bystanders, Shelly shifted in the booth. I mean, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people hit their kids, I think. I actually don't know, but I know I'm probably making a bigger deal of it than it was. It was nothing huge. Like, it happened a few times a year, and most of the time it was just a hard slap to the face. Sometimes more. More? I don't know, like punches, but that was rare, and I think she kind of held back. I never bruised, so I guess it didn't technically count as abuse. Wait, I'm sorry. What do you mean it didn't count? Mom always said that if there aren't bruises, then it doesn't count as abuse. She said the cops wouldn't do anything. I don't know. She did apologize for it a couple years ago, and she said she was wrong for doing it. Savannah's voice raised. She said that if there weren't bruises, it didn't count? Yeah, but she took that back when she apologized. She kind of flip-flopped later, but it doesn't matter. Savannah's skin changed to the hue of lava. Shelly hadn't known that her sister's complexion did that when she felt mad. It was a kind of fury she had never seen in her sister before. So she hit you. Why? As punishment? Chopping knives sounded in the background. I guess. I was kind of snotty sometimes. You were a teenager, Shelly. That's the case with like 99% of high schoolers. Savannah paused. Tell me everything. All the details that Shelly could remember were relayed. Many specifics had gone away with time. She mentioned that she had kept a list of these moments once on her phone in case she had decided to tell someone. In a fight one day, Shelly had told her mom about the list, and her mom had insisted that she was acting unhealthily, holding on to the past, keeping grudges. Her mom had said she needed to delete the list and move on. Later that day, on the bus ride to school, her friend Owen had discovered the list. That's when Shelly decided she needed to listen to her mom. Be better. Move on. Let go. She deleted it. Every now and again, Shelly's confidence would waver about whether she had made the right decision. Her sophomore year, when she moved to Provo permanently, she had written down a few instances she could still remember and stuck the paper beneath a bunch of irrelevant sketches, not looking at it again. Why didn't you ever tell me? Savannah said. I don't know. You were in Nebraska and then St. George. You had your own things going on. And honestly, what would happen if I did tell you and Mom got in trouble? I'd have to move in with Dad, and I love Dad, but he's not exactly the most attentive parent. I know. I was the one that stayed with him. At least Mom and I had some fun moments. We just also had some wretched, miserable times as well. Shelly did feel that she had moved on, somewhat, until she paused. Her sister didn't know about the miscarriage. She didn't know if she wanted her sister to know. Instead of sharing, she skipped over specifics. Choosing vague details, Shelly explained, over my entire life, I thought that one day I would leave our family and begin a new one, a better one. No offense. None taken. I really wanted a family that could feel happy most of the time, laugh at jokes, go on picnics. Marrying John, I thought I hadn't just sealed myself to him. I thought I had sealed myself to this future family. Her hands toyed with her hair as Shelly thought about how to phrase her next words. Under Savannah's stare, the velvet covering her armpits wetted. Good thing she wore black. Then this thing happened this past spring? Not a fun thing. And it ripped the seal open, removed the hope, put it through the garbage disposal. I thought you said that you and John were doing okay. We are. It's complicated. But over the past few months, I keep having this dream of the day I deleted the list. It's like reliving the memory over and over and over again. Tears welled up in Shelly's eyes. She paused until they dried up, but her next words were shaky. I can't ever change how it goes. In the end, the dream stays the same. I never tell anyone. I stop talking to Owen. I delete the list. With sunken eyes and fallen lips, Savannah said, I'm sorry, Shelly. If what happened in the spring is causing this, it must have been a big thing. Are you sure you don't want to talk about it? The muscles in her lips wouldn't move. They had lost their strength. The idea that she might never have children, that she might never have a family, debilitated her. She knew it was one miscarriage. It could happen to anyone. But what if it kept happening to her? She couldn't share this fear. Speaking about it would remove the nerve she needed for this weekend. No, not right now, Shelly said. Savannah nodded. Anyway, Mom wanted me to go to graduate school. She wouldn't stop bringing it up. But John and I wanted to start a family. Every time I talked to Mom, I felt so stressed, and then things were the worst. Tears burned at the edge of her eyelids again. The worst they've ever been. I felt like my life was falling apart, and it seemed like I had no other choice. I had to go to grad school. Mom was right. Again, life had fallen apart. Snot ran to the top of her lip, tasting sour. The dress's sleeve came near it as Shelly almost used it to wipe her face clean, but then her arm stopped raised in front of her. She was wearing her mom's clothes. With no napkins and no desire to go remind their waitress to bring them some, Shelly wiped the snot onto the velvet. With a snivel, she continued. It seemed logical at the time, even if it didn't feel right, even if I didn't feel happy. When I started dreaming about the day I deleted that list, I began to wonder if I should have ever listened to Mom about anything. The more I listen to her, the more I do what she wants, the more I feel like I'm becoming her. And I'm scared that one day I'll be her. I'll be working, living without John, without kids, without a family, and I'll be alone. Savannah left her end of the booth and slid in next to Shelly, putting her arm around her. Shelly, I'm so sorry. That's hard, but you won't be alone. I'm here for you, and John seems great. I don't think he's going anywhere. Hitting her fist against her thigh, Savannah crumpled the ends of her red dress. Dang it, she said. I should have been there for you. Mom and I had our own fight going on. You know how she talks down to me. And I was so mad at her, but I'm more mad now. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you. It's okay. Like you said, you had your own stuff going on. Savannah huffed. Wow, I can't believe her. Mom's not perfect, but I still want to make up with her. I want to make it better. Shelly moved out from under Savannah's arm, forcing eye contact. It's different now. She hasn't hit me in years. She's still critical sometimes and a little controlling, but I want to have a good relationship with her if I can. I want us to be more like a family, at least one that likes and talks to each other. Pursing her lips, Savannah directed her eyes at the ceiling. Shelly hoped that Savannah would stick to the plan, but her willingness to mend the discord with their mom had begun no more than a few weeks ago, before she knew about the abuse. Healing the family must have sounded nice, but the fury in her sister's thinking face didn't make Shelly very confident. Anger would cloud the rationale needed to balance the complexities of working the relationship out with their mom. I don't know, Shelly, she finally said. I'm going to need time. I'm just so... Regardless of Shelly's vocabulary preferences, her sister had to release her anger. Out went a strand of curses, ending in a heated, heavy breath exiting out her flared nostrils. I guess it's good Mom had her date after all. Maybe it will give you enough time to cool down, Shelly said. The waitress returned and apologized for the wait, explaining their understaffing. Placing chopsticks and napkins on the table, she offered them an appetizer on the house, and the two weakly accepted the edamame. The bowl had little to no green left in it when the waitress reappeared, with their mom. Shock coursed through both daughters. Shelly smiled, clenching her hand into a fist and resisting the need to move it toward the back of her neck. Savannah acted as if she could pretend their mom had not shown up, but no one could ignore her frequent, penetrating glances in their mom's direction. No one except their oblivious mother. Deborah slid into the empty booth seat across from them. Gosh, girls, I'm famished. I'm so glad you guys suggested this. End of chapter. Yeah. So you're going to want to tune in for the next chapter. If you liked this video, like this video, subscribe if you want to see more content. Once we finish reading Shelly, I'm going to start going back to reading my blog posts and doing more interactive content, which I am so excited for. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Bye!